Welcome to today's analysis. We are unpacking a truly, genuinely fascinating document today. And right off the bat, I want you to completely forget the idea that this is just some dry, boring, bureaucratic text. No, it's actually more like an architectural blueprint. It's literally a master vision for our entire future. We're looking closely at Book 20 of the IA Live foundational documents. This specific text lays out the design for an entire world system of sport, wellness, and healthy longevity. Just try to imagine a world where health isn't simply, not having a cold. Instead, it's a meticulously engineered, massive global ecosystem. That's exactly what we're breaking down right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. The preamble of this document sets the stakes just perfectly. It reads, "Health, well-being, and healthy longevity constitute fundamental pillars for the sustainable development of humanity." So obviously, this isn't just a minor suggestion. It's not a nice to have. This clearly establishes that without health, there just is no sustainable future. Period. It's the literal bedrock of absolutely everything else that's to come, which makes understanding this global initiative absolutely crucial for all of us.
So here is our roadmap for decoding this massive institutional charter. We're breaking it down into 5 logical, interlocking pillars. First, the global system. Second, the cooperation network. Third, innovation and memory. Fourth, total integration. And finally, the future, projecting all the way out to the year 2100.
Let's start right at the very top. Section 1, the global system, looking at macro-level governance.
So how exactly is this immense ecosystem directed? Well, Article 77 establishes the International Council of Sport, Wellness, and Healthy Longevity. But I really want you to notice the definition here. This is definitely not your standard run-of-the-mill regulatory board that just, hands out red tape and restrictions. Far from it. It's actually a strategic engine. Its main job is to drive responsible international cooperation, push innovation, and evaluate the impact of what they call living works. It's a governance structure entirely designed to propel humanity forward rather than bogging us down with endless bureaucracy.
Moving on to our second pillar, Section 2, the cooperation network, which is all about the micro-level community.
Because let's be honest, a massive macro system up in the clouds is absolutely nothing without a micro-level community actually bringing it to life on the ground, right? So Article 78 outlines this world community. We have the usual suspects, of course, athletes and coaches, health professionals, universities, purpose-driven companies, and governments. And they're all fundamental, but pay super close attention to those last 2 elements, living books and artificial intelligence. Wow! I mean, it's an incredibly bold and futuristic vision. AI isn't treated as just some passive software tool here. No, it's actually included as an active partner in the cooperation network, working right alongside humans and human institutions.
So, Article 79 outlines permanent cooperation. This is really about translating all that high-level institutional theory into real-world action. Just look at how these diverse community members align with specific, tangible global goals. You've got integral health and physical activity perfectly geared toward boosting our collective well-being. Then scientific research has its sights firmly set on advancing preventative medicine worldwide. And innovation, especially when paired with that active AI we just talked about, is literally tasked with modernizing what healthy longevity even means for us today.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how the system actually preserves all of these discoveries. Section 3, innovation and memory, the technological layer.
Okay, so all that constant, nonstop global cooperation is inevitably going to generate an absolute mountain of data, right? And this part brilliantly illustrates how the system holds on to that knowledge. We are completely, 100% leaving behind the old concept of dusty, static archives where historical records just kind of go to die. Instead, Articles 82 and 83 create what's called the World Library. This is not some passive vault. It's a totally dynamic digital ecosystem. It's basically a living, breathing resource that constantly preserves living works, AI health applications, and natural diet methodologies, keeping them immediately connected and, most importantly, useful for the future.
In fact, the system is essentially forced into a state of continuous evolution, which is directly mandated by Article 80. It literally has to update permanently. Whether there's a massive scientific discovery in preventive medicine, a new physical activity methodology, a breakthrough in natural diets, or a huge leap in AI and emerging tech, these triggers force the entire global system to recalibrate. The brilliant design of Book 20 ensures the framework stays completely on the cutting edge. It's built from the ground up to never ever become obsolete.
But, all these amazing technologies only work if they are perfectly integrated. Section 4, total integration, connecting the biome.
So, like I was saying, none of this works in a vacuum, and all has to integrate flawlessly. Just think about the equal 20% split in the integral approach outlined in Article 85. Physical health doesn't just dominate the conversation, it gets 20%, exactly the same as mental health and emotional health. And honestly, perhaps the most profound part? Social well-being and biodiversity hold the exact same weight, 20% each. The system operates on the rock-solid logic that a human being simply cannot be healthy if their mind, their social fabric, or their natural environment is sick. It's a giant puzzle where every single piece is perfectly balanced and totally dependent on the others.
And zooming out even further, this massive ecosystem of wellness doesn't exist in a bubble either. Article 84 explains that it actually plugs directly into other major global networks. We're talking total integration with things like regenerative agriculture, smart government, and autonomous learning. It's this incredibly intricate web where everything, from what we eat to how our local societies are governed to how we learn new things, all converges toward one single crystal-clear objective: protecting our health and our collective quality of life.
Which brings us to our final pillar, and this is where the scale just gets mind-boggling. Section 5, the future, 2026 to 2100, a generational legacy.
Now that we understand how the whole shebang connects, we have to look at the sheer epic scale of this timeline. Articles 86 and 88 establish a frankly staggering 74-year runway. Guys, this is definitely not your typical 5-year corporate sprint. Starting in 2026 with the foundational period, it charts this uninterrupted path all the way to the completion of the founding era in 2100. It is literally an architectural master plan designed to outlast us all. It's built deliberately to serve and protect future generations that we won't even ever meet.
Honestly, when you're faced with a timeline stretching all the way to 2100, it's pretty easy to feel a little bit small in the grand scheme of things. But Article 87 does something completely brilliant. It brings the massive scope right back down to us, to the individual, through this concept of shared responsibility. This whole futuristic blueprint relies entirely on personal, shared commitment. Literally every person and every institution linked to this system shares the absolute duty to strengthen this permanent culture of health. And that idea flows perfectly into the beautiful final declaration that closes Book 20. Listen to this. A healthy humanity is a humanity capable of learning, creating, cooperating, and building a sustainable future. The human library will preserve this legacy. Wow. I mean, it is just such a hopeful, visionary summary. It's the ultimate goal of the entire institutional charter, a world where science, nature, and advanced technology align entirely to dignify life itself. So, the crucial takeaway from this entire deep dive is this. We've explored the detailed architecture of a future meticulously designed for absolute collective well-being. But, and it's a big but, a blueprint, no matter how perfect it is on paper, still desperately needs builders to make it real. If holistic human health is quite literally the foundation for our entire future, what are you going to build? What will your own living work be when the year 2100 finally rolls around? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this analysis. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.